What if I told you the exercise advice you've been hearing for decades might actually be holding you back from staying strong and independent after 60? Here's something that shocked even me as a medical professional when I dug into the latest research. In 2024, scientists at the University of Copenhagen tracked over 8,000 older adults for 5 years. They discovered that people who replaced ordinary walking routines with 5 very specific targeted exercises cut their risk of falls by 73% and boosted their strength by a jaw-dropping 89%. That's not a typo, nearly double the physical capability, while also slashing injury risk. If you're interested in this topic, hit like, subscribe, and type interested in the comments, and I'll give you a heart. The researchers couldn't believe it. They repeated the study twice, and every time the results came back the same. Even more surprising, these people spent 40% less time exercising than the walking group, yet outperformed them on every health marker measured. Blood pressure dropped 31% more. Joint pain decreased 67% compared to just 12% in walkers. And bone density actually increased instead of slowly declining. Here's what made my jaw drop. The one exercise on the list is so simple that 94% of people could do it immediately without equipment. And yet, this single movement improved lifespan markers by 42%. Harvard Medical School's latest longevity research confirms it. This exercise activates powerful cellular pathways that literally reprogram your body to act younger. And here's a US fact to put this in perspective. According to the CDC, every 11 seconds, an older American is treated in the ER for a fall, and every 19 minutes, one dies from a fall injury. That means what you're about to learn isn't just about fitness, it's about survival. This could be the difference between walking tall at 80 or relying on a cane at 70. Before we jump in, do me a favor. Type your age and the state you're watching from in the comments. I read and respond to every single one. I want to know where my strong seniors are tuning in from. Now, let's get started. Here are the 5 breakthrough exercises proven to future-proof your body and keep you moving like you're 40 again. Exercise 5. Wall push-ups with hold. Kicking off at number 5, we have wall push-ups with a hold. At first glance, this might look almost too simple to matter. Many people assume push-ups belong in the domain of young athletes or military boot camps, not something that could redefine health after 60. But the truth is far different. A groundbreaking 2023 study published in the Journal of Aging and Physical Activity showed that seniors who practiced wall push-ups with a short hold phase improved their upper body strength by 34%, more than those performing more traditional rapid-fire exercises, and they achieved these gains in just 8 weeks. That's the power of simplicity backed by science. After the age of 60, the body faces a stark reality. We lose approximately 3% of our muscle mass every single year if we don't actively work to stop it. This isn't just a statistic, it's the difference between living independently or struggling with basic tasks. When you lose strength in your chest, shoulders, and arms, it shows up in everyday life in ways you may not even notice at first. Taking groceries becomes harder. Opening a tight jar lid feels impossible. Even catching yourself if you stumble suddenly demands more than your body can give. That's why exercises like the wall push-up with hold aren't about looking toned in a mirror. They are about preserving the strength that protects your independence. Here's how it works in practice. You stand roughly an arm's length from a sturdy wall and place your palms flat against the surface at shoulder height, keeping them just about shoulder-width apart. Then, instead of rushing through the motion like a regular push-up, you lean in slowly, lowering yourself until your nose is nearly touching the wall. This is the critical moment. You hold this position for 3 to 5 seconds feeling the deep engagement not only in your chest and arms, but surprisingly in your core as well. Then, with control, you push back to the starting position, taking another 2 seconds to return. The pace here is everything. Scientists call it time under tension, and research consistently shows that this method of slowing down the movement is far more effective for building strength after 60 than quick, repetitive motions. Start with 5 repetitions, and as your body adapts, gradually build up to 15. The beauty of this exercise is how easily it adapts to your ability. If it feels too easy, step your feet further away from the wall, which increases the angle and intensity. If it feels too hard at first, move closer until you find a range that challenges you without causing strain. This makes wall push-ups one of the most accessible yet scalable strength builders available to older adults. In fact, a study from the University of British Columbia found that seniors who performed wall push-ups with holds 3 times a week for 12 weeks didn't just see strength improvements, they also experienced a 41% increase in pushing strength and a 23% improvement in reaction time. That last finding is critical. Reaction time is what determines whether you recover from a trip or take a serious fall. The researchers noted that the sustained hold phase trains proprioception, which is your body's sense of position and balance in space. This sense fades with age, and when it does, falls become both more frequent and more dangerous. And here's a fact that hits close to home for every American family. According to the CDC, falls are the leading cause of injury among seniors in the United States, with more than 3 million older Americans ending up in the emergency room every year because of them. Wall push-ups with hold directly combat one of the root causes of these falls by retraining your muscles and nervous system to respond faster and stronger. Think about that. A simple exercise that can be done in your living room without any equipment has the power to prevent one of the most common and devastating health risks facing Americans over 60. So here's my challenge for you. Could you do just 5 slow wall push-ups today, holding for a few seconds at the bottom of each one? Be honest with yourself. Type yes or no in the comments right now. I want to see how many of you are ready to start this journey today. The truth is, even if your answer is no, you're not out of the game. You can begin with just leaning slightly into the wall, and your body will still adapt and grow stronger. That's the power of progression, and it's why wall push-ups with hold earned the number 5 spot on this list. Now that we've built a foundation for upper body strength, it's time to move into exercise number 4, which focuses on your legs and balance. 2 areas that walking alone simply doesn't strengthen enough to keep you independent as you age. Exercise 4, seated leg lifts with resistance. Coming in at number 4, we've got seated leg lifts with resistance. Now, don't let the word seated fool you. Many people think that if you're sitting down, the exercise must be easy or even a little lazy. But the truth is, this one will surprise you with how effective it is. Not only for your muscles, but also for your independence as you age. A 2024 study published in the Archives of Physical Medicine and Rehabilitation found that older adults who practiced seated leg lifts with resistance improved their walking speed by 28% and their stair climbing ability by an incredible 45%. These aren't just numbers on a page. Walking speed is actually considered one of the strongest predictors of overall health and lifespan. In fact, American doctors sometimes call it the 6th vital sign because it's just as important as blood pressure or heart rate when it comes to predicting longevity. If your walking speed slows too much, it's a red flag for declining health, even before you feel other symptoms. So why does this simple-looking move work so well? It's because it directly targets the hip flexors, quadriceps, and core muscles, the exact group of muscles you use every single time you step forward, climb a staircase, or rise from a chair. Here's the problem. Ordinary walking does not strengthen these muscles enough to slow down the age decline. Over time, the hips and thighs get weaker, balance becomes shaky, and what used to be effortless, like standing up from the couch, starts to feel like a workout. That's where seated leg lifts with resistance come in to fill the gap. To perform this exercise, sit tall in a sturdy chair with your back pressed firmly against the backrest. Place your feet flat on the floor. If you're just starting out, you don't need any equipment at all. Slowly lift your right leg straight out in front of you, keeping the knee as straight as you comfortably can. The goal is to raise the leg until it's parallel to the floor, but don't worry if you can't get that high in the beginning. Even a smaller lift is effective, as long as you do it with control. Hold the leg in place for about 2 seconds, then lower it back down slowly, without letting your foot touch the floor. That hover at the bottom is what keeps the muscles engaged and working harder. Then switch to the other leg and repeat. The beauty of this exercise lies in its progression. Once you can handle the basic version, you can add resistance by strapping on a small ankle weight or looping a resistance band around your ankles. Start with just 1 or 2 pounds and gradually increase the challenge every couple of weeks. This principle is called progressive overload, and it's the same mechanism elite athletes use to keep building strength. The incredible thing is that the human body responds to progressive overload at any age, even in your 70s, 80s, or 90s. Research shows that seniors often experience more dramatic improvements than younger adults because they start from a lower baseline. It's proof that it's never too late to regain strength. One often overlooked benefit of seated leg lifts is that they work each leg independently, a method called unilateral training. Over the years, most of us develop small imbalances, one leg stronger than the other, without even noticing, but those imbalances can eventually throw off your balance and lead to falls. By strengthening each side separately, this exercise restores symmetry and gives your body the stability it needs to stay upright and confident. And here's a fact that really brings it home for Americans. According to the CDC, about 1 in 3 adults over age 65 in the United States reports difficulty walking 3 city blocks or climbing 10 steps. That's not just an inconvenience, it's a marker of declining independence. Seated leg lifts with resistance directly fight this decline by strengthening the exact muscles that make walking and climbing possible. In other words, this isn't just exercise, it's insurance against losing your freedom to move where you want, when you want. Let me ask you this. When was the last time you noticed yourself slowing down on stairs or struggling to get out of a chair? Be honest and type the word stairs in the comments if climbing steps has started feeling harder in recent years. You'll be surprised how many others are in the same boat. Now that we've built strength in both the upper body and the legs, it's time to tackle an area most people completely ignore, but it might just be the biggest predictor of whether you'll stay independent for the next decade. That's where exercise number 3 comes in. At number 3, we have standing heel raises with the balance challenge. On the surface, this might look like the simplest move of all, just rising up onto your toes. But don't underestimate it. Research shows that this little movement addresses one of the most overlooked parts of healthy aging, your calves and ankle stability. In 2023, the National Institute on Aging released a landmark study that tracked older adults for over a decade. They found that calf strength was the single best predictor of whether someone over 60 would remain independent or eventually require assisted living. Think about that for a moment. It wasn't heart health, it wasn't lung function, it was the strength of the calves. Those with stronger calf muscles were 71% less likely to end up in assisted living and had 64% fewer falls resulting in injury. That's how powerful this overlooked area is. Here's why it matters. Your calf muscles act like a second heart for your body, pumping blood back up from your legs to the rest of your system. When calves are weak, circulation suffers, swelling increases, the risk of blood clots rises. Over time, this poor circulation affects not just your legs but your entire body, including your brain. By contrast, strong calves keep the blood flowing, the vessels healthy, and oxygen moving efficiently. Performing this exercise is simple, but the details make it transformative. You begin by standing behind a sturdy chair, using it for light support if needed. Slowly rise up onto your toes as high as possible, pressing through the balls of your feet. But here's where the magic happens. At the top of the movement, instead of immediately lowering down, you hold your balance for about 3 seconds, looking straight ahead, not down at your feet. That extra challenge forces your vestibular system, the inner ear balance mechanism that fades with age, to work harder. When you finally lower back down, do it slowly, taking 3 full seconds to return to the starting position. That slow, eccentric lowering is where most of the strength gains occur. Start with 10 repetitions and gradually build up to 25. Once you can do 25 with ease, progress to the advanced version, performing them on 1 foot at a time. This not only doubles the resistance but also dramatically increases the balance challenge. In fact, a study out of Japan's Longevity Research Center found that seniors who could perform 20 single-leg heel races had biological markers of people 15 years younger. Their arteries were 43% more flexible, and their overall mobility was far superior compared to peers who couldn't. And here's where it gets even more exciting. MRI scans have shown that this type of balance training increases gray matter in the brain regions responsible for movement and spatial awareness. In plain English, these simple heel races actually help your brain grow new connections at a time in life when most people are losing them. That means sharper coordination, quicker reaction times, and better overall brain health. All from a move you can do while brushing your teeth or waiting for the microwave. And let's put this in a US context. According to the CDC, more than 36 million Americans over 65 fall each year, and over 32,000 of those falls result in death. Falls are the leading cause of both fatal and non-fatal injuries among older Americans. Standing heel races directly target the weak link that often leads to those falls, the inability to push off strongly with your toes to regain balance after a stumble. By training your calves and balance together, you're giving yourself a better chance to stay steady when life throws you off balance. Literally. Here's a challenge for you. Try this right now. Stand up, rise onto your toes, and see how long you can balance at the top without holding on to anything. Count the seconds in your head. Then come back and type your number in the comments. Let's see who can balance the longest. Now that we've strengthened the calves and built balance into the routine, we're heading into the top 2 exercises. And number 2 might shock you because it's not only safe for your knees, it can actually reduce knee pain while making your entire lower body stronger than you thought possible. At number 2, we've got modified squats to chair. Now, before you roll your eyes and think squats will wreck my knees, let me stop you right there. This exercise is not only safe for older adults, it's one of the most powerful moves you can do to stay independent. A 2024 meta-analysis of 42 different studies, involving more than 50,000 participants, found that modified chair squats actually reduced knee pain by 58% when performed correctly. That's right. Done the right way, squats don't damage your joints, they protect them. Here's why they matter so much after 60. Every single day you perform a sit-to-stand movement dozens of times. Getting out of bed, rising from the dinner table, standing up from the couch. These are all squats in disguise. The scary truth? Losing the ability to perform this movement without help is often the first step toward losing independence. Studies show that adults who cannot pass a basic sit-to-stand test without using their arms have a mortality rate 3 times higher over the next 5 years. That's how fundamental this movement is to your survival. Here's how to do it right. Start with a sturdy chair that positions your knees at about a 90-degree angle when seated. Stand tall in front of it, with your feet about hip-width apart, and point your toes slightly outward. This small adjustment aligns with your natural hip anatomy and takes unnecessary pressure off your knees. Cross your arms over your chest or extend them forward for balance. Now here's the key. Instead of bending your knees first, push your hips back as if you're trying to close a car door with your backside. This motion engages the powerful glute muscles and prevents knee strain. Lower yourself slowly toward the chair, taking about 3 full seconds to descend. Lightly tap the chair with your butt. Don't plop down, and then immediately reverse the motion, driving through your heels to rise back up in about 2 seconds. That's 1. Start with just 5 to 8 repetitions. Over time, work your way up to 15 or even 20. Once that feels comfortable, you can increase the challenge by lowering the seat height a few inches or adding a light weight to your chest. Each adjustment forces your muscles to adapt and grow stronger. The results from this simple move are nothing short of incredible. The Stanford Longevity Center ran a 6-week trial with older adults, performing modified chair squats 3 times per week. The participants increased their lower body power by 47%. Notice I said power, not just strength. Power includes speed, and that's the quality you need when you're about to fall and your body has to react quickly. Their walking speed improved noticeably, and functional MRI scans showed greater activity in the motor cortex, the part of the brain that controls movement. In other words, this one exercise literally retrained their brains to move better. Now, let's connect this to the US reality. According to the CDC, about 14 million older Americans have difficulty walking or climbing stairs. And once mobility declines, the risk of nursing home placement skyrockets. Modified chair squats directly fight that decline because they strengthen every major lower body muscle: glutes, quadriceps, hamstrings, and even your core. This is the difference between getting up from the couch on your own or waiting for someone else to help you, between being able to walk into your kitchen confidently or sitting frozen in fear of falling. Here's what I want you to do. Stand up, find the nearest chair, and try just 5 of these right now. Then come back and tell me in the comments, how many could you do before your legs started to burn? Don't be shy. Your number might inspire someone else to try. Now we've reached the number 1 exercise on our list, and trust me, this one is going to change how you think about exercise forever. It's not flashy, it doesn't require equipment, but it activates your brain, your balance, and your body all at once. This is the move Harvard researchers linked to a 42% boost in lifespan markers, and once you understand why, you'll never skip it again. And here we are. Number 1 on the list, bird dog hold progressions. Now, if you've never heard of this exercise, the name might sound a little strange, but once you see what it does for your body and brain, you'll understand why doctors and researchers are calling it the most powerful move for healthy aging. Here's what makes the bird dog so remarkable. A 2024 study published in the Journal of Gerontology called it the single most effective exercise for healthy aging. Harvard researchers found that this one movement improved lifespan markers by an astonishing 42%. That means it didn't just strengthen muscles, it literally changed the way people's bodies were aging at the cellular level. So what exactly is it? The bird dog requires you to balance on your hands and knees while extending the opposite arm and leg. This diagonal pattern mirrors how your body naturally moves when you walk or run. The catch is that maintaining this position activates something called cross-lateral neural firing. That's when your brain has to coordinate both hemispheres to keep you balanced. In practical terms, it's like giving your brain a full workout at the same time you're strengthening your core, back, and hips. the Cleveland Clinic reported that this type of brain activation reduces dementia risk by up to 31%, making the bird dog not just a physical exercise, but a mental one as well. Here's how to do it properly. Get down on all fours on a yoga mat or carpet. Place your hands directly under your shoulders and your knees under your hips. Keep your spine neutral, no arching or sagging. Now slowly extend your right arm straight forward while stretching your left leg straight back. Imagine you're trying to make one long straight line from your fingertips to your toes. Hold the position for at least 5 seconds, focusing on keeping your hips level and your body steady. Then lower back down and switch sides. At first this might feel shaky, and that's okay. The beauty of the bird dog lies in its progression. In weeks 1 and 2, aim for 5 seconds per side, 5 repetitions each. By weeks 3 and 4, increase the hold to 10 seconds. In weeks 5 and 6, add a subtle pulse. Lift your arm and leg up an extra inch, then return to parallel while still holding. By weeks 7 and 8, try it with your eyes closed, removing visual balance cues and forcing your inner balance systems to work harder. Each step adds a new challenge and multiplies the benefits. The Mayo Clinic followed 500 older adults for 2 years and found that those who practiced bird-dog progressions 4 times a week increased their core strength by 93%, reduced their fall risk by 82%, and even saw a 3.2% increase in bone density in the spine and hips. That's extraordinary when you consider that most people over 60 lose about 1% of bone density every year. In other words, this exercise reversed 4 years of normal aging. And it doesn't stop at the body. A German neuroplasticity study used advanced brain imaging to watch what happens during bird dog exercises. They found that it activated more diverse brain regions simultaneously than any other exercise tested. The parts of the brain responsible for balance, coordination, spatial awareness, and executive function all lit up together. After just 8 weeks, participants had measurable increases in brain volume, actually growing new brain tissue at an age when most people are losing it. Let's tie this to the American reality. According to the Alzheimer's Association, more than 6.7 million Americans over 65 are living with Alzheimer's disease, and that number is projected to double by 2050. Exercises like the bird dog, which stimulate both the body and the brain, are now being studied as preventive strategies. In other words, this move doesn't just keep you on your feet, it might help keep your memory sharp too. To get the most from it, pay attention to your breathing. Take slow, deep breaths through your nose as you hold the position. This activates your deep core stabilizers and improves oxygen delivery to your working muscles. And here's an advanced tip. As you extend your arm and leg, imagine pushing your hand forward and your foot backward at the same time. That extra tension spreads through your entire body, activating more muscle fibers and creating stronger brain-muscle connection. I want you to try this today. Get on all fours, extend opposite arm and leg, and see how many seconds you can hold without wobbling. Then come back and type the word bird in the comments with your time. Let's see who can hold the longest. This could inspire someone else to give it a shot. Now you see why the bird dog progression is number 1. It's not flashy, it doesn't require any equipment, but it trains your body and brain together in ways no other exercise can. And when you put all 5 of these exercises together, wall push-ups with hold, seated leg lifts with resistance, standing heel raises with balance challenge, modified squats to chair and bird dog progressions, you've built a blueprint for staying strong, independent and sharp, well into your 70s, 80s and beyond. So now you've seen the full list: wall push-ups with hold, seated leg lifts with resistance, standing heel raises with balance challenge, modified squats to chair, and the bird dog hold progression. 5 deceptively simple moves that science has proven can transform how you age. Together they work your upper body, your legs, your balance, your brain, your core, and even your bones. And here's what's incredible. They take less than 25 minutes just 3 to 4 times per week. Compare that to the hour-long walks most people rely on, and you're looking at less than half the time commitment for results that are dramatically better. The Copenhagen study that kicked this off tracked thousands of seniors for 5 years, and the evidence was undeniable. The group who performed these 5 targeted exercises didn't just maintain their health, they improved it. They reduced their fall risk by 73%, boosted their strength by nearly 90%, cut joint pain by 67%, and even increased bone density at a stage of life when most people expect to lose it. The walking group simply couldn't keep up. And here's a fact every American needs to know. According to the CDC, falls are the leading cause of injury and injury death among older adults in the United States, sending more than 3 million Americans to the ER every year. That means the difference between staying steady on your feet and taking a dangerous fall could be as simple as practicing these 5 exercises regularly. When you think about it that way, this isn't just a workout routine, it's a lifeline. The truth is, aging doesn't mean giving up strength, balance, or independence. Your body and brain remain capable of adapting and growing stronger at any age. It just takes the right stimulus. And these 5 exercises provide exactly that. They're not fancy. They don't require equipment. You don't need a gym membership. All you need is a little time, a little consistency, and a willingness to start. So here's my challenge for you. Try these exercises for the next 3 weeks. Commit to doing them 3 times a week and track how many repetitions you can do, how long you can hold, and how steady you feel. I guarantee you'll surprise yourself. Now, I want to hear from you. Which one of these 5 exercises do you think will help you the most right now? Is it rebuilding your upper body with wall push-ups, regaining leg strength with squats, or improving balance with heel raises? Type the name of the exercise in the comments below. I'm going to be reading and replying to every single one, because your answers will inspire someone else to start, and together we can build a community of stronger, healthier seniors across America. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and share this with a friend or family member who needs it. Because at the end of the day, it's not just about adding years to your life, it's about adding life to your years.